How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? What's the real truth about Citizen Kane?
It'll probably turn out to be a very simple thing.
Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm the Chief Blue Meanie.
I'm Max.
And welcome back to another episode of Better Than Citizen Kane, the highly subjective show where we look at a movie and ask that titular question. Because when every movie ever made is a reasonable contender for the title of greatest film of all time, you have to wonder, better than Citizen Kane? Right, Max?
Yes, your blueness.
What? We meanies only take no for an answer. Is that understood, Max?
No, your blueness.
That's better. Is the dreadful flying rosebud in readiness?
No, your blueness.
Splendid! This week, Pepperland goes bluey. As we discussed the landmark animated film Yellow Submarine, 1968.
It quickly became so apparent to me that, yeah, we had previously established you have a really good impression of the Chief Blue Meanie, and I did absolutely no research as to what Max sounds like, and I don't remember. So I'm sorry for really dropping the ball on that one.
That's good, that's good.
But that was fantastic. Parker, by the way. Everyone, that was, believe it or not, that wasn't actually
Shockingly,
the Chief Blue
it is
Meanie,
I.
that was Parker. My wonderful and talented co-host on this show. Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine. Directed
by George Dunning, but feels like it was just directed by 1968.
Yeah, there's a lot going on under the hood there.
And specifically, what's the guy's name who did most of the
art direction?
The art direction.
That would be Heinz Edelman.
Heinz Edelman, yes.
Edelman, excuse me. Yes, Heinz Edelman.
I mean, it's like, I don't want to take away from George Dunning's accomplishments, but it really just feels like a group of people made this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it has like one person's vision. It just kind of feels like, well, naturally, this is what this movie is, you know? Like, it's just kind of a movie that like came to be, and it's like, well, that's exactly what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, absolutely. 100%. To the point that, like, we'll get into it, but there was some fracturing within the crew as to, like, which leader they were going to follow, you know? They one camp for Dunning and the other half for
interesting.
Robert Balzer and Jack Stokes as the animation directors. Stokes specifically was kind of the figurehead for that, but we'll get into that.
Oh, okay. Well, you brought this to the show, Parker.
I did. I brought this to the show.
Why?
Good movie.
just really hard. Why?
Why?
Why'd you do that?
I brought this because, we're animation fans here on the pod. We're two animation-loving guys over here.
Try to get some animation in the show.
Yellow Submarine is one of those things that, like, it very specifically holds such a place of reverence within the animation community. The Blu-ray that I got, it has like a little booklet of internal stuff with an essay by, understandably, disgraced animator John Lasseter, but at the time was not disgraced. But
in true before the Studio Ghibli movie fashion.
Yes, truly.
John
Lasseter, it's like, who are we going to get for this? Get John.
He's just getting in front of so many good movies, being like, "Hi, I'm John Lasseter, and I'm going to tell you why this movie's good. Don't look into me at all.
Don't look into me at all.
Please, never look into what I do."
But his little opening paragraph in the booklet just talks about how, like, for animators of a certain generation, like, this was the text, you know? Like, that group of, like, the Disney Renaissance group and the Pixar founders, like, they hold this movie in such high esteem because a huge issue, as we've discussed a lot on the pod, is that the cultural consensus around animation has been for a very long time, oh, well, that's kids stuff. That's for children, right? And movies like Yellow Submarine, like, can be enjoyed by children. I enjoyed it as a kid, which we'll get into, too. But like, it was designed from the ground up to be serious animation. It was supposed to be a very serious art piece, right? It's like, yeah, no, this has artistic aspirations. This isn't just mindless slop. It's not
the Beatles
lowest
cartoon.
It's not the Beatles.
It's not
cartoon.
the Beatles
Exactly.
Saturday morning cartoon.
It is not the Beatles Saturday morning
Which
cartoon.
is what the Beatles were afraid it was going to be, so they just kind of removed themselves from it.
Right.
And then only once it was underway, right? That they were like...
Which makes sense because George Dunning worked on the animated show. So they're like,
Right.
oh man, not this guy. You know?
Yeah, and they were a little busy, by the way.
They were just
We'll get
a
into
touch
that.
busy. But I wanted to bring this to the show because it is such a like totemic watershed of animation history, right?
Sure.
And so it feels like it could be an interesting conversation with Kane. And it's just a movie I really like.
Good movie.
Good movie.
Good movie. There it is.
There it is. We got it. Everybody
That
go watch.
impenetrable reference to a meme in which the Beatles are walking across Abbey Road and the caption is like, hey guys, let's go see the SpongeBob SquarePants movie 2004. And then it cuts to them walking back across and they all say good movie.
Yep.
Except Ringo, who thinks it's all right. And they
thought
say,
it was
shut
all
up,
right.
Ringo. I thought it was
Nobody
shut up,
asked you, Ringo.
Someone did like a dub over it. And it's just one of those things that I have been referencing for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And Parker and I say it all the time of just good movie.
We say it a lot.
Because they say it in unison. Anyway.
Good movie.
The Beatles, Parker.
Beatles.
That's another reason. I'm
Yes.
sure. I mean, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
Just getting ahead of this. We are both Beatles fans.
Beatles fans over here. Yes, absolutely. What is your history with the Beatles, and then what is your history with this movie?
Well, I think it's very tied in the sense that like the first music I probably ever heard was from the Beatles in a way. Like I'm sure I heard other things, but like they have been like my dad, who's been on the show. He raised us very deliberately trying to expose us to lots of music from like when he was growing up and even stuff that was still coming out. Like never really like the pop scene, contemporary pop, but like would try to get us into even just like indie rock of the day, which I didn't realize. Like it took me 10 years to realize like certain songs were coming out in my lifetime because I just kind of grouped it all with like, well, that's all like from before I was born. But the Beatles is like, that is something that my entire family listens to in the car. We sing at home. We learn the songs on our instruments. We had Beatles Rock Band when I was growing up. Like it is kind of like the first band that I knew and the first band that I loved, and like the music that means and this is the case with so many other people, is like it just means the world to me because I was raised with it. And that's just kind of how it is. Like it's like I there is no period of my life without the Beatles, and therefore they've just always kind of been there. And on top of that, good music. Yeah, really good music. Unbelievably great music. So I grew up listening to all of their music and grew up watching this movie. Because I mean, all Beatles all the time when I was a kid. Like that was, not literally all the time. We listened to other stuff. Yeah. But it's just, it's kind of hard. It's weird to talk about because I'm like, well, it's the Beatles. Like, do I have to? And it's like nowadays you kind of do have to be like, yes, I do like them. Yes, I don't think they're over. There has been this kind of souring. Yeah. Against them in online spaces in the last 15 to 20 years. And that's fine. People can say whatever they want. But pretty inarguable that they made great music. So
I agree 100%.
That's kind of it. I don't know how else to talk about it, Parker. It's just part of me. That's just part of me. So what about you?
Very, very similar. A big thrust of it is from my older sister Amanda, 100%. Like it is something that she's the oldest out of my siblings, the group of 6 of us, and so she kind of set the course for a lot of like what we'd be listening to as a family on road trips and stuff. And before that, like my dad had his iPod Classic that had a lot of this era of music, and he probably had some Beatles on there. It was a lot of Beach Boys and Queen and the such. But my sister Amanda was the huge thrust forward of like, she was the Beatles fan, you know, like that was a huge part of her identity. That was a huge part of her growing up. And so through her, I gained exposure to and an appreciation of the Beatles from a very young age. Like, it was one of those things that, like, when we moved from Utah to Idaho when I was about 9, that was kind of when Amanda really latched onto them. And so I'd heard Beatles music before that. Like, one of my earliest memories is, like, doing a school pageant where we sang "Here Comes the Sun," you know, like it has been around in my life a lot. But like actually knowing who they were, listening to the music, and then kind of discovering these movies, like specifically this one my grandmother had on VHS, and we would watch it whenever we went over to her house. And then we also really loved A Hard Day's Night. Those were like the two Beatles movies we would watch a ton of.
Are there others? Just kidding. Wait, you're not... Wait. I'm switching my bit.
I still haven't seen Magical Mystery Tour. I don't have...
And why would you? And why would you?
I don't know. I feel like maybe I, like...
No.
I don't know.
There's
I
no
know
way.
I've seen pieces
Sorry,
of it.
everybody.
I don't know if I've ever sat and, like, watched through it. I have seen Help.
Apologies to everyone for just the cacophony of sounds I'm making as I try to keep my laptop from taking off. So anyway, sorry.
You're good.
But you have seen Help. Good.
I have seen Help.
That's one of those great films.
One of those great movies, baby. It is.
And they were focused. They were sober. There's no racism
this
in it.
This movie certainly wasn't a reaction to Help. No. Why would it be? So that's my history with, you know, the Beatles, and same sort of thing. Like it's music that means so much to me, in a band that I listen to a lot, and you know, like the Beatles are in my top 5 favorite artists. Like I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, like
sorry.
But it feels like you have to apologize for liking the most popular band in history.
Which is it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Is it contrarianism? Is it wokeness? Is it, you know, whatever? Neither of those things are being said with hate in my heart at all. I'm just like, maybe, you know, it's the Onion article of guy can't wait to tell you that John Lennon beat his wife, and you're like, that is kind of like it's this weird. There's so much going on with that, but we don't need to talk about all that. We're here to talk about Yellow Submarine.
Yellow Submarine?
In which the Beatles hardly appear.
Yeah.
And are hardly involved.
They made their contractual obligation.
They did. And I had forgotten that scene at the end is what Zemeckis used as the basis for his test footage.
Speaking of, this doesn't relate much to the episode, so we won't dive into it. But if you would like, if you have any interest, while doing research on this, I found a guy who has a Google Drive filled with animatics from the Zemeckis film. It's like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
I'm interested, Barker.
Yeah, if you want to check that, it's weird. I don't think it would have been good.
And yet, part of me deep down, I don't ever want to admit this, but I'm going to admit it on mic.
Sure.
Part of me is like, but what if that had happened? Like, what would that what would this? So that's why I'm curious, because I am morbidly curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because watching this movie this time, I've seen this movie countless times. Yeah. But in the last few years, I've seen it like 3 times.
Sure.
Probably in the last like 6 or 7 years, I've seen it 3 times. Mm-hmm. And watching it this time, it's so, like, from a story perspective, it's very slight, which is fine. That's not a knock on the movie. Mm-hmm. But as I was watching it, I just kept trying to imagine what the plan was for Zemeckis' remake. Yeah. Because I go, you can't really narrativize this any further.
No.
And yet you know that because, like, why else do it unless you're like, we're going to add emotional beats, you know? Like, there's such a like a dry wash of wit over this entire thing, and kind of detachedness from the characters of the Beatles, of like, when Ringo falls into the sea of monsters and is gone, and like, there's no character here, because there doesn't need to be. Like, there's no, like, oh man, we gotta go get him. You know, it's like, why would you ever do that? That's not what this is. So trying to imagine like Robert Zemeckis, king of, you know, whatever you call it he does. But like trying to imagine him doing like a narrativized version of this where it's like, no, Paul and John are going to talk it out. You know, George is going to like, it's like, what do you mean? Like they can't actually do that because then the movie falls apart because the movie has to just be exactly what it is. Like that's why I'm like 1968 made this movie because this is the only version of this movie that works and it only exists at this very specific time.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Like, it's like this weird miracle where it's like, this isn't a perfect film.
No.
It's not like we're both here with a 4-star rating, whatever that entails. And yet I'm like, I wouldn't change anything. I'm not really asking it to do much else.
No.
I'd maybe remove, you know, from looking back now, we can say, let's maybe remove the Native Americans. But, you know, even that, it's like, it's this dream world. It's not really like it is. And it's, you know, we should probably address that. But it's like, you know, yeah, I feel like I made my point.
Yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying. And like, that's the thing that's so weird about like watching any of the material for that is that you see them trying to pad it and it really just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you making the Blue Meanies target the Beatles before they're ever here? Like, why are they trying to kill Ringo? What's going on?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's weird,
that's
man.
That's the Zemeckis version?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's odd.
But see, that's why I'm morbidly curious. Because I'm like, what were you going to do?
A little side when you were talking about that you've watched this like 3 times in the last handful of years. I hadn't realized that this is almost an annual watch for me. I missed it last year, but since 2021, I've watched it at least once every year for the past 5 years. I think for me, it's just such easy viewing of if I just want to like chill and hang out, I'll just put this on. And sometimes I'll be really invested and watch it. And sometimes I'll have it on in the back while I do other things, you know? Yeah. But like, it is just kind of a vibe movie.
It's very unchallenging. And also it's basically, you know, all films are a work of art, but this is truly just like an art piece.
Yeah.
Like you could just put this on with like quiet audio in the background at a party and it would just be like, that's a nice thing to look at, you know, like
absolutely.
It is pop art, you know, it's something from a gallery somewhere, you know.
It's also really interesting. I'm not the one to really speak on this from my perspective, but it's fascinating looking at this as like a proto MTV of it all, you know, it is very music video-y.
It is. It's very
in a way
music
that
video-y.
like wasn't really in vogue at the time.
Yeah.
Which I just find interesting.
It's very interesting.
You want to get into some background, some research?
Please.
Okay. So, the main thing of note here is that the Beatles had a 3-picture contract with United Artists. They had to make 3 movies with them, according to contract. They were really happy with A Hard Day's Night, directed by Richard Lester. They had a good time with that, was well received. They go and make Help, which was kind of a shit show in a lot of regards.
They didn't want to do it. They were high the entire time.
Yeah, like they're very clearly checked out.
Yeah.
The main conceit of the movie has not aged particularly well in any regard.
No.
Just kind of that good, solid 1960s British racism, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's... and they were not pleased with the finished product. They were dissatisfied with how the movie turned out. They didn't want to be there. So they really were just like, man, like, don't make us do another one. I don't want to do a third. But like the representative from United Artists he would check in with them every few months. He's like, hey, you have to do this. Like, okay, is there any progress? Is anything happening? And so they said, hey, wait a minute. Like I can't remember who pitched it first, but somebody presented them the idea of doing this animated thing, and they latched on that. Like, oh, that requires minimal input from us. Like, we can fulfill our contractual obligation, but they're in the middle of working on albums. They're about to go to India for their retreat.
Yeah.
Like, They're busy. They're very, very busy.
The thing that's craziest about this for me is like I was looking into like exactly when this falls for them. Because the songs that this movie features basically are like there's a bit from Rubber Soul. There's like a tiny bit of representation from like Revolver, maybe, but maybe not now that I'm looking at it.
Maybe.
No, I don't think. No. Wait. No. Yes. Anyway, doesn't matter. Sgt. Pepper's and Magical Mystery Tour are obviously what they're pulling a lot from. But the thing is like, when did this start production? Do we know?
This started production, let me see. That would have been like, like early 1967. Because, so for reference, we talked about this a little bit, but like animated films take a long time to make. Like
Yes,
on
do.
average, you're looking like 3 years usually from conceits to actual production. This movie was made in 11 months, which is insane for an animated film. Like that's wild. So yeah, it was just that year of mostly 67 and then into
because it came out in November
July
68.
So yeah, it must have been like August 67 is when they start.
Oh, it came out November 68 is what I saw.
The UK is July. November's the US.
Wow. Oh, November's the US. Okay.
November's the US. July is the UK.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so okay. All right. So this so if this starts production in August of 67 or July of 67, it's like, okay, Sgt. Pepper's just came out.
Yeah.
So they just released Sgt. Pepper's. That November is Magical Mystery Tour, both the TV film and the EP in the UK and the album in the US. And then the UK gets this in July of 68. Beatles have gone to India. Yeah. They've done the White Album sessions. And then the White Album comes out in November. But what was wild for me was like the US release of this movie is 1 week before the White Album came out in the US.
Wild.
And I just go, that is just like a wild, it's like, imagine being someone who's like, oh yeah, like, no, I can't. I'm just like trying, like, I'm so in my head, Parker, where I'm like, oh, it's so annoying to talk about the Beatles. And I'm like,
it's a Beatles episode, Max. Talk about the Beatles.
I just kept thinking, I've been, in advance of this episode, I've been back into a Beatles mood. Like, I've just been listening to a lot of music. And I was just thinking about, like, being, like, let's say there's, like, a teenage girl who's, like, it's 1962. And she's a big fan of this band, the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then like 6 years later, she's 22 and the White Album comes out. And I just kept thinking about like that journey of not only the band and the music and the world at the time, but just like growing up with that.
Yeah.
And like growing up with that music and that music changing within a decade of your life. And I just think that is such an interesting journey to think about. And this movie coming along at the same time as all of this. Yeah. It's just kind of interesting. Like what was the experience of like going to see this as a Beatles fan? Like, what were you expecting? Like, I'm so curious,
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about like the experience of being someone living through this year by year. It's so interesting to me. Anyway. Yeah.
So
they were busy. Needless to say,
they're very busy, and so they appear at the end of the film in person to fulfill their contractual obligation to United Artists to appear in the film. It was supposed to be animated, like not them, but like the background was supposed to be very in style of the film, and it's just a black curtain behind them because they ran out of time, you know, and they ran out of money, and they said, okay, I guess we're just doing this, and so they show up at the very end. And they've committed, they've done their contractual obligation, and that's that.
Right.
Which is nuts. There is a version of the screenplay that exists, but when they go into production, nothing has been locked down yet. They have the basic kind of conceit. The original story is written by Lee Minoff, and that basically gives you essentially like an Odyssey type structure of, okay, we're going to go on this journey. We're going to, connect this back into the song. It'll be very loose. The screenplay has 4 different writers working on it, taking different passes on it. Bits and pieces are coming in and out. And so when they start production, there is no script. So what they start doing is a lot of the individual musical numbers, like It's Only a Northern Song goes into production because like, well, this can be out of time. This doesn't have to be related to anything.
Right.
So like basically the animation staff starts working on these individual music videos with the idea that the segments in between will be written to stitch these different pieces together, right?
Right.
So they're working on Only a Northern Song. They're working on Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, knowing that nothing needs to be tied together yet. And that is most of production. It's not until about like 5 months in they've got a lock script finally. And so they hit the ground running. As you mentioned earlier, the art direction comes from Heinz Edelman, really a huge pioneer of this psychedelic style. And it's interesting, like, I watched, there's a little, like, 9-minute promo video that made at the time. Called
I watched that
Odyssey.
as well.
Yeah. And it's fascinating because in that they talk to Edelman and he's talking about, he says, talking about the specifics of the animation and how he's like, we wanted each of the Beatles to be different in design and approach. And he says, George, John, and Paul move at 32 frames a second, while Ringo, the shortest, plods along at 24. George walks like a cowboy, Paul like a confident young executive, John like a showman, and Ringo like a schoolboy Charlie Chaplin. Yeah. Which is just like everybody, we've talked about it, of like people point to like Into the Spider-Verse is the first time people are using variable frame rate to tell a story. And it's like, dude, we've been doing this for a long time, actually. Like
Ringo, baby.
You
guys are forgetting Ringo.
You're forgetting Ringo, as so many people often do.
And yet he is the central character of all three movies. Of all three movies.
Which is crazy. It's
right?
It's
like basically, right?
Yeah, like the less so in Hard Day's Night, but for sure this
But Hard Day's Night, they still split him off.
He still has his whole B story, that's true.
Like, they just love to be like, and Ringo's up to something. And it's like, I feel like directors are just drawn to his sad features and his overall, like, and also, you know, he literally wanted to be an actor. Yeah. So I suppose that makes sense. But like, it is funny that each of the three movies in the 60s are just like, Ringo's our man. And I go, yeah, all right.
All right, sure.
Sure.
What's crazy about the way this was put together is that it's such a small crew of animators. You know, they've got like less than 30 people working on this thing. And because of that, a lot of these segments are basically like one-man show shorts. Like the entirety of Eleanor Rigby is done by Charlie Jenkins, who's one of the key creative directives. Just like, I'm just going to go do this. And then came back and just had this, which...
Hey, guys.
Listen, I think, as I said in my Letterboxd review, Hey Bulldog is wildly underrated, and I think it's a banger of a song. If we're talking the best, like, visual sequence, I think it's Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah, I would like to have that discussion soon, once we get through this.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But, yeah.
So, not all was well in paradise at the time. So, as mentioned, George Dunning was the overall director for the film. But it is a lot of it's art by committee, not by art by community. You know, like it is a lot of people getting involved, and his particular like approach to it wasn't necessarily jiving with everybody. A lot of people rallied behind Jack Stokes. The animators kind of had a lot of loyalty to Jack, to the point that there was this big shakeup in the main production company involved, and it was going to change hands between financiers or something. I don't know all of the specifics of how this went down, but basically there was a question of whether the animation team was going to get completely fired in the middle of this and get replaced. And the animators took half of the film and locked it in a bank vault and said, you can't have it unless we stay. Like, they held half of the movie hostage.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other things to note. just there's a lot of various different styles of animation going on here. You have collage work, you have limited animation, you have full-blown hand-drawn. Say again? Rotoscoping, absolutely. There's a lot going on here, which is really interesting. And what's fascinating is that, excuse me, like a lot of these people then go on to work on other things that are notable. Specifically, one of the staff, Ron Campbell, he went and worked on animation for the Children's Television Workshop, for the Electric Company, and Sesame Street, which is fascinating looking at those segments in response, like in conjunction with this, and kind of seeing the fingerprints across it.
No, I've always kind of clocked that a little bit.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then the film is released, and there are two different cuts that exist. There is the UK cut, which is what we have now as like the restored version.
Right.
And the international cut is different, not just in what they exclude, but also what they add. There's a really great video on YouTube where somebody breaks down like side by side a lot of these differences of like, there are different moments of animation in the international cut that were used to fill in gaps. Like famously, Hey Bulldog got cut from the international version. And so basically they wake up Sergeant Pepper, the Blue Meanies show up, and then it just hard cuts into Ringo finding Jeremy. And and so they have some additional animation to kind of smooth that transition a little bit. But
that's so interesting. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
it's fascinating the way that this works as it's gone along. Let's see. Yeah, there's alternate shots and All You Need Is Love. Sergeant Pepper's stuff is different. Yeah, and then as time goes on, they eventually go back and do a restoration. So in 2012, Apple Corps announces that the film has been restored to 4K by hand because the animation cells were so fragile. Because usually what you can do is you scan a film in all at once, and then it kind of, you run it through the software and you touch it up. They couldn't do that with this. So they had to photograph individually every single frame and by hand restore it, which is a crazy amount of work. It's nuts. But it looks great. Like the version that's available now is really, really fantastic. For the 30th anniversary of the film, they also remixed the score and soundtrack into 5.1 stereo surround sound at Abbey Road. And the movie came out and did well enough. Like it did all right on a budget of approximately, £250,000. It made £500,000. So broke even. Didn't really go beyond that, but did okay.
Yeah.
And then it just it becomes this cult classic. Like it really gains a huge following within, the music sphere and the hippie community and animation, obviously, and people really latch on to this thing for a really long time. And when you get into the era of home video, they realized, oh, hey, we could release this, but there was a lot going on with the rights issues around the music and who owns what and United Artists and all these things. So the first issue of it comes from MGM and United Artists Home Video in August of 1987. But that's the U.S. international cut. Is the first one that comes to VHS. And then about 12 years later, they put it out on DVD for the first time in 1999. And that one has the European theatrical cut in there. Hey Bulldog comes back. And that's the version that existed for a long time and then was based on the restoration. But it's so interesting because something that I don't know enough about in the day-to-day, but I always wonder about is how were people getting a hold of these movies when there isn't home media, right? Like you have re-releases, but for cult films like this, that's not happening a lot. So I don't know, I can't get any firsthand accounts, but similar films just somebody has a print, and that print
Yeah.
gets passed around to people. Like, people had projectors in their homes and would
Right.
borrow a copy of this thing and watch it, which is just
Yeah.
such an interesting film community.
I mean, I suppose that the FBI warning about piracy had to come from somewhere.
I suppose so.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why are they pushing that so hard, you know?
Yeah.
Well, probably because of the piracy, I suppose. But,
I suppose.
But it potentially because
Yeah.
we'll have a print of Yellow Submarine. A lot of people aren't making money off of these pirated releases of Yellow Submarine, so we're going to shut that down right now.
Something that I find interesting that you and I have talked about a little bit, but like I can't find a definitive answer on, is like, if submarines are yellow because of this song and this movie, like, just were they yellow before? It's hard to say.
Specifically, you mean like toys of submarines?
Yeah,
Because submarines in the real world are not yellow.
For some reason, why someone might have a toy and why that might be important to a particular plot point. We're not going to talk about yesterday on this podcast. I won't do it.
Oh, come
I
on.
won't do it.
I'm going to bring it to the show next year. Joke's on you. Hey, it'll tie into the release of those Beatles biopics.
That's,
you know?
Hey, that's true.
Hey. What if Barry Keoghan's Ringo is the central character of all 4 films? What if they're just lying to us and, like, in keeping with tradition, they're just like, it's all Ringo, baby.
It's a nice deep cut. I do.
But it's
that.
like George's life story, but just through Ringo's eyes. So like
Sure.
George's childhood is just a story that George is telling Ringo at some point, and Ringo's just like listening very intently.
Yeah.
And then like later, Ringo's like, you know, hearing the news about George's Dark Horse tour and how it's not going very well, you know?
Yeah, let's make him the focal point, I think. I think that works well.
Just sitting in a room listening. You know, it's very like Glinda in the Bubble. You are Glinda in the Bubble.
Yes.
Like that,
Perfect.
just like the events of everything are happening around you, but you're just stuck in the POV of this one person. You know, everyone gets what I'm referencing, that real thing that happened.
Yes, of course.
Just reference that like anyone knows what I'm talking about. Should we do a film summary, Parker?
Yes. Let me see. There was one more. What was it?
Okay.
Oh, I find this so interesting that for the first half of the film, George is voiced by someone named Peter Batten, and then before he finished recording, they found out he was a deserter from the British Army and summarily fired him. And then Paul Angelis picks up, who does the he does the opening narration, Chief Blue Meanie, Ringo, and then finishes out George.
Wow.
Which is just interesting.
Let's talk about that really quick. So the Beatles likenesses are in this movie.
Yes.
Who do you think comes out the strongest as far as like their
impression?
representation? Yeah, impression and just kind of like overall design, and like who do you think looks and sounds the most like the guy they're supposed to be? Because I think it's Ringo.
Interesting. Like Ringo's pretty close.
Ringo's pretty close. I think that Paul is pretty good.
I feel like
Paul
they've got John's affect. You know, like
his
it's not a great
affect.
impression. But
No,
like,
but, like,
his energy is there, right?
What they're saying, like his personality seems correct. Like the way
Yeah.
he talks sometimes feels like, yeah, I could imagine that. I think George gets done the dirtiest.
Yeah, George
Doesn't
is pretty
sound anything
unrecognizable.
like George for most of it.
No.
And like, it's just kind of like his whole personality is just like, it's all in the mind, you know?
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, and yes.
They're like, yeah, I guess we'll make him the transcendental one, you know?
Right, which he is. And
Sure.
like I get that he was the quiet one and the transcendental one, and like they're doing the thing. But it is just really funny where I'm like, he just doesn't sound anything like him. Like,
See, I think that it's Paul by virtue of I don't understand Ringo's black eyes. I don't know what's going on with that character design of just like these dark voids and then just this little white
Yeah.
circle with a pupil in the middle.
because they've got like the teardrop shape, you know?
Yeah.
He's got like Cyberman eyes.
Yeah, it's nuts.
it's a-
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a fun design. I just don't like when I look at it. Like,
it gets across to me
Okay, all
somehow.
right, all right.
Somehow I go, that is Ringo.
yeah.
You know?
The voice is really good though. I do like
yeah.
the voice quite
The
a
Ringo
bit.
voice is quite good.
Yeah.
But I like the Paul impression because it doesn't feel like, you know, like 10 years after this movie, you know, the agreed upon Paul McCartney impression exists, and it feels like this movie isn't responsible for that, because the Paul they're doing here is more specific. Like, it doesn't always sound exactly like him, but it like feels like a version of him. It doesn't have the
breathiness that everybody puts into it.
No, but
like there's actual like grounding in the chest. In
and like it feels like a more specific and studied impression of him.
I agree.
It's not always exactly 100% there, but it like feels more workable. I don't know. It feels more accurate.
Final fun fact: the voice actor for Old Fred is his name is Lance Percival. He voiced Paul and Ringo on the TV show.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Hey, two other really bad voices.
Yes, I do like him quite a bit in this, though.
But he is very good. I mean, it's a perfect impression of old Fred.
Yes, yeah, spot on.
Actually, of young Fred or whatever, and the old mayor too. Like those two guys, I'm like those. That sounds exactly like those guys in real life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The 5th and 6th Beatles, respectively.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever happened to those guys?
Whatever happened? Yeah. Summary time.
Summary time. I have this lovely little list I put together.
Yes.
Because I figure no use in trying to be like, okay, so the first thing that happens, I just took a note because I realized it was going to be hard. But the Blue Meanies attack Pepperland, which lay or lie 80,000 leagues beneath the sea.
I'm not quite sure.
I'm not quite sure. It's just like, it's a very funny movie. There's a lot of really good play on words. Turning on the captions this time was really fun. Except for the fact that they kept crediting all of Paul's lines to Ringo, and I was like, that's clearly not Ringo.
That's not him. Yeah.
But a very funny movie. Just a fun, just like, it's not like, you know, it's not always like it's the smartest thing ever, but it's just like consistently charming.
Yeah.
In its play on words and punnery. Like, you're just like, oh, yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's good.
It's a very pleasant watch. But Pepperland is beneath the sea. And
a land of art and music.
Yes. And the Blue Meanies, who hate music and all things, attack. What do you make of the Blue Meanies, Parker? What are your thoughts on the Blue Meanies?
They're so interesting, and like in that little promo video, they talk about how like the Blue Meanies are all bad guys everywhere, right? Is their idea. It's like, okay, this is just the capital B bad guy of anything, anywhere, at any time. Them being blue was an offhand choice. They were going to be purple or red, and then one of the animation assistants was like, well, what about blue? And they're like, oh, blue, that's interesting. So they changed it blue. I've seen this movie a lot.
Yes.
This is the first time, I don't know what it was, of when they first show up, I clock for half a second, I'm like, are they supposed to be wearing Mickey Mouse ears? Like, is that intentional?
You had never really caught that?
I never clocked. Like, I never really, like, I just always read, I never read them as Mickey Mouse ears until this time.
I have always thought of them as having Mickey Mouse ears.
I don't know
Except
why.
Except for the Chief Blue Meanie, who has, like, Oswald Lucky Rabbit.
He's got, like,
ears.
rabbit ears. Yeah. Him and Max. But, like, the others have these buns. And I always read them as, like, buns, I guess, for some reason.
Interesting.
But for some reason, I was like, oh, they're wearing Mickey Mouse hats, aren't they?
They're very Mickey Mouse.
They're very Mickey Mouse. I think that they are interesting. I like them. I like how manic the Chief Blue Meanie is. Like, just the switch on a dime is really good.
Yeah. I have never been, since I've been older, I have never been able to shake this, like, weird feeling that they are some sort of caricature of someone.
Yeah.
Like, of, like, a country or a race. And it always kind of puts me off. Like, but then I'm always like, no, they're, like, not, because they're not specific enough to be, like, a racist caricature.
No.
And, like, there's obviously the line where they're like, you don't look bluish, and you go, wait, are they supposed to be anti-Semitic? And then it's like, no, you read up on it, and they're like, no, that's, like, that is the joke, is, like, you don't look Jewish.
It was a turn of phrase at the time.
It was a turn of phrase at the time, and also it's like all villains were played by Jewish actors at the time, and I go, okay, so just kind of, like, tangentially related to anti-Semitism, but not specifically doing that. You know, Heinz Edelman, who designed them, is a Czech German, and his family was kicked out of Czechoslovakia after World War II. and like the Blue Meanies are clearly fascists, so you go,
Yeah.
right, but then they're wearing cowboy boots, like they have spurs,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately my decision is they aren't anyone specific.
No,
But
it doesn't.
I can just never,
Yeah.
every time I watch it, I'm always like, "Ugh, it just
Well,
has the
it's-
energy of being something bad.
Well, it's also it's interesting because like it feels like the main like comparison point culturally to this film is something like Pink Floyd's The Wall, which
Sure.
is very direct in like Nazi imagery as the
Yes.
bad guys, and this
Right.
is much
These guys
more viscous.
aren't Nazis.
Right, but
That's
your
the
brain
thing.
tries to like, okay, there has to be a one-to-one allegory.
I'm just yes, but there is no
there
one-to-one
isn't.
allegory. But I'm just like always like, but are they Nazis or are they like, Max keeps saying like very like Eastern European names just randomly, and I go, so are these? And then they have, I mean, the closest that the Blue Meanies actually get to being a character thing is the Snapping Turks, which are bizarre.
Yeah.
And like do lean into a little bit of like a stereotypical idea of a Turkish person,
Sure.
I suppose. But like I'm like, who are they? And then I have to be keeping like they're baddies everywhere. They
Yeah.
are bad guys. They are all bad guys. And like I think if there is any, and again, it's not like I want them to be, but I can just never sit comfortably with the Blue Meanies because I'm always like, I can't remember. Are they supposed to be somebody?
Sure,
Like I'm always
yeah.
just a little worried. That being said, they aren't.
No.
And I do think they achieve a very iconic design. But it's like wild that they have Mickey Mouse ears. They're wearing cowboy boots. They are like wool. They're like sheep.
Yeah, they're very fuzzy.
They're very fuzzy and like woolly. And like they have these like long SpongeBob noses. Like it is just this kind of bizarre look that really does work. It's just so interesting. And I did have the realization this time as well that I am so glad the Zemeckis movie didn't happen, because good Lord, what would that have been?
The concept art I've seen of the Blue Meanies sucks. I don't like it. They look like enemies from like a BioShock video game. Like it's not good. It's
Wait,
not.
so they're not doing like
Well, they are, but it's just they add a bunch of shit on top of them. Like it's just they just put extra stuff on them, and they have like it's video game characters. Like it's like
Yes.
there are different. It looks like there are different ranks within the army, and each of them is like
Sure.
a clone trooper subclass, basically, of like, well, these guys have the big shoulder pads, and these guys have the arm things. It's like, what are we doing, guys?
Blue Meanie first person shooter. Yellow Submarine Battlefront. Pepperland Battlefront.
Pepperland Battlefront.
I have a list here on my phone, which I'm grabbing. Because so you watched this as a kid, right?
I watched this as a kid, yeah.
Which parts terrified you the most? Because every time I watch this, it's just a running list of everything that scared me when I was a kid, and I actually made the list this time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chief Blue Meanie scared me.
His
for sure.
his like you said, his manic energy was very unsettling to me as a kid.
Yeah, that was
Like going from
unsettling.
like a whisper to a scream.
I really hate the noise that the clowns make, the like alarm when their heads
Yes.
spin. That
Yeah,
scared me as
that's
a kid.
on my list. Yeah.
That was
I
rough.
have written here screaming clown alarm.
Yep, screaming clown alarm.
Yep.
The concept of the like suction vacuum monster, like
Here's what I wrote down. Awful fucking trumpet monster that eats the world.
yes, exactly that.
That really freaked me out as a kid. And my dad, I watched this with my dad, and he was like, that terrified me as a kid. And I go,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that thing at all. Just there's some stuff, like just a lot of the designs in the Sea of Monsters kind of freaked me
Yeah.
out when I was
They're very
younger, for
unsettling.
sure.
I was scared of the glove.
Oh, sure.
The glove is cool, but I found it distasteful. No. I just was like, I don't like it. It
Yeah.
freaked me out. I didn't like how it smashed everything.
Yeah.
You know?
I always hated that its mouth is between like the pinky and the ring finger. Like I just like the design was always weird to look at. But like
It's
a
very
lot of this
strange.
movie was that way. Of again, I'm growing up on like Disney animation at this time,
Yes.
and watching this is so far removed from that stylistically that like kid brain was like,
what if there was an entire movie that was the pink elephant section of Dumbo?
truly, it's just like, yeah, let's just do that.
What if it was all heffalumps and woozles? And I go, oh God, it's all heffalumps and woozles.
Yeah. So those are some things off the top of my head. What's your list?
Yeah. Well, I have those same things basically.
Yes.
I had the Chief Blue Meanie, Glove,
Mm-hmm.
and then awful fucking trumpet monster eats the world.
Yep.
Parentheses vacuum flask is I think what the Beatles call it.
Yeah.
Screaming clown alarm, but the one I'm skipping here is the apple bonks and the men that dropped them. I just find it when they're just dropping all the apples on top of the Lord Mayor. I was like,
terrible.
It's like that scene in The Incredibles when all those sticky things get on Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, anytime a pile of something was dropped on somebody, I was like, I don't do that.
I don't like that. I
don't like that. Stop doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But those were the things that freaked me out. So I just thought it was worth giving those a shout out before we dive in to the Sea of Green.
Yes. So Pepperland is attacked. The Lord Mayor tasks young Fred.
But also, it's I added it to my review later, but how young Fred runs to him and it's like, the blue meanies are coming. The Lord Mayor, they're playing a quartet and it's just like, they wouldn't dare.
They are. What are we going to do? Finish
the quartet. And I just go, oh, that's our government right now. That's the government.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. They're coming. They wouldn't dare finish the quartet.
Yeah.
And then he has to carry him. Mm-hmm. Delightful. This man who's apparently made out of beets. He's just like pink and red and wrinkly. Mm-hmm. Carries him. They get to the submarine on Yavin 4. It's like the
Yavin 4 temple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Fred sets off in the Yellow Submarine to find some heroes. Mm-hmm. And we get, the introduction.
Yep.
Which is Yellow Submarine. Mm-hmm. What do you think of this song generally, Parker? What do you think of the song Yellow Submarine, which inspired the movie?
It's jaunty. I like it.
Have you heard John Lennon's first demo of it?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm. Wild how this thing evolved.
Yeah, crazy the journey these things take.
I like Yellow Submarine. I loved it when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. The experience of listening to Revolver, which I think is my favorite Beatles album.
It's a good album.
It's just like, you finish Here, There, Everywhere, and you're just like, man, what a lovely song. Mm-hmm. And that like later we're getting Tomorrow Never Knows, we're getting She Said, we're getting these great songs. And then like Yellow Submarine starts up and I'm always just kind of like, yeah, and Yellow Submarine's here.
Yeah.
In the track list of Revolver, I have a hard time with it, but I love the song.
That.
Yeah.
Out of that context, okay. I like it quite a bit, I think. And it's a really great like sing with a big group of people. It's got a nice like call and response chorus.
Absolutely. And you know what? At the end of this little intro, the title sequence, we see a blue, red, and green submarine.
Yes.
We see other submarines. Mm-hmm. And as is the case with my brain as a kid, I loved it when something could be a different color. And I was so captivated by that I was like convinced. I was like, I need to know what those other submarines are doing. Like, what do they get up to? Who drives them?
Yeah.
Where are they going? I find them tantalizing, Parker.
Hell yeah.
So if anyone out there has written any fan fiction about...
Send it over to our non-existent P.O. Box.
Yes. I would love to know what you think the blue submarine, the red submarine, the green submarine. Sort of like Yellow Submarine Minish Cap, Like, I'm like, what are they up to?
Yeah.
Minish Cap's the one... No, Four Seasons. That's
Swords.
the Zelda game. Four Swords. Four Seasons. Legend of Zelda Four Seasons. He goes to the hotel.
Yeah, he goes to the hotel.
Staying at a hotel. So from there, the submarine arrives in Liverpool.
Yes.
And we pick up with the hero of every Beatles film, Ringo.
Well, we get Eleanor Rigby as it's going through the city of London.
You're right. It just goes directly into that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I love that intro shot of the sun comes up and it's the skyline of London. Yeah. And then we get this great parallax effect as we go down and the layers move. And then we get to the chimney stacks and they all blow. And that gets us into
and Eleanor Rigby starts. Great song.
Great song.
Every sequence in this movie, I'm just going to be like, hey, good song.
Yeah.
But you said earlier that this is the greatest.
I think this might be my favorite like visual sequence of the film. Like Lucy in the Sky comes very close. Like Lucy in the Sky is really good, but I love the art style of this. I love the use of the photographs and like very limited step frame animation.
It feels like it's tapping into like it was my previous review of this, which was a joke, but I want to speak on it a little bit more. My previous Letterboxd review before this most recent watch was, as a kid, my understanding was just that that's what England looked like. Like I was like, but like I do think that it feels like this wider. It's like this expression of, maybe it's just Liverpool, I don't know, but it feels like an expression of English culture and English sadness. Mm-hmm. It's such a sad piece of art, like all of these photos, and also Eleanor Rigby is playing, but it just feels like such this like quintessential like tapping into something that I don't really understand. Mm-hmm. But I'm really feeling it. And I think that's where you get it. Like you said, like this, like, you know, one guy just went and was like, I'll do Eleanor Rigby, and then just made this. It feels like a singular artistic expression of a feeling that I don't understand, because I don't know exactly what it, you know, I'm not English, you know, I'm not Liverpudlian or whatever, you know. I'm not a born Liverpooler, as Ringo says later.
It's a good joke. I like that joke.
It's a great joke. But yeah, Eleanor Rigby is gorgeous. Like it is this, it just feels like it's showing me something that I don't understand, like emotionally, you know? And I love that. Like I love that. So I do, I think I agree.
Yeah.
I think I agree. Lucy in the Sky is so incredible too, though. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Ringo is stalked by the yellow submarine.
Yep. And he's depressed. He's sad.
And he's depressed. Well, you know, it's lonely on a Saturday night, and it's only a Tuesday.
Yeah. I throw myself in the river. It looks like rain.
And yet, this is another movie we could just be like, yeah, it's all these quotes.
Yeah.
But he goes home.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow submarine parks. Fred gets out, goes in. This bizarre Boy and the Heron-esque endless hall of doors.
Yeah.
And there's just like things. There's just things.
Yeah, there's stuff running around in and out.
This is just where the Beatles live, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
I guess so.
Kind of expanding off of that Help concept of where they all live in the same place. But it's like this endless hall, like,
yeah,
I don't know. But what do you make of this whole scene? This is kind of where we're introduced to each Beatle individually. John is a Frankenstein.
Yep.
George is on a mountain.
On a mountaintop.
And Paul comes out from like a concerto that he's, you know,
And I love, like, this is something I did like from that promo video of, they're talking about how each of them are introduced in ways that felt accurate. And like specifically their phrasing I really liked of like, Paul has just finished a Mozart concerto. George is, you know, spiritualism, transcendental up on this mountaintop. And I really like that they're like, and John is born out of a literary illusion, which I liked a lot. I was like, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, well, especially because he'd written a book. Mm-hmm. And he is. He's born, and it's also interesting. Like, it is interesting that he's like born out of Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
In particular, it's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. Won't read into that. But it is. It's fun. It's this weird room. You know, some good gags. The car.
The car.
That's my car. Well, what does it look like? Well, it's yellow with orange wheels. Red,
blue with purple wheels.
Yeah.
It's all in like mind.
The thing that they do get across really well is like, just I don't know, like the appeal of the Beatles at this time is like when they're together, just them like doing, like being funny together. Like that's what really made them a sensation. Is like not only are they making this music, but they are also like immensely charming and have great like comedic timing with each other. And for this movie to be, the Beatles aren't playing themselves. We're writing a script that has to get across a certain level of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a success in this movie. Like,
I think so.
They do write successful riffs between these four guys. You know, even if George sounds nothing like George, and it's like, yeah, I know that this is like a Flanderized version of each Beatle, but like it's getting across the public's idea of who the Beatles are. Yeah, is being put across well in this movie.
Well, what's so interesting is that you have public figures who can be Flanderized this quickly. Like,
Yes.
they have not been around that long, but we've already reached such cultural saturation that you can do shorthand of what their rapport is like and people will understand it, which is fascinating.
It is fascinating. And something else that I noticed in that little mod Odyssey featurette that you're talking about is he says, like, this will be the first time that celebrity... Hang on, I wrote it down. What did he say? He says... For the first time in history, extremely real and famous people will be made into animation.
Yeah.
And I was like, that might be exaggeration, but also, like, it's not like at the time they were really doing, like, cartoons, they weren't really doing, like, here's a guest star who's playing themselves that often, were they? I don't think.
Scooby-Doo hadn't gotten to that point yet.
No, right? Yeah. Like,
not really.
but it really does feel like this is a moment where it's like, well, these are people who are so insanely famous that we can make them animated and that will still count as...
Yeah, like you got
obviously the Beatles had to appear, but it's like, these are the Beatles. Like, and again, it is like the public, idea of them, but it works, and it works in the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is a success to the movie's credit, especially to the screenplay's credit, which obviously the animation so far kind of... It blows the screenplay out of the water as far as, like, notability.
Yeah.
But I do think that the screenplay is, like, fairly solid at just, like, getting across our expectation of how the Beatles talk to each other.
Yeah.
I guess is my point. All the Beatles end up, they all get together. And I do just want to shout out really quick. There's this brief excerpt when he says, what day is it? And they go, well, it's Sitar Day. It's Sitar Day. And he goes, well, George will be here then. And then it's the intro to Love You Too.
Yeah.
Plays as we see George on the mountain. And then when they leave Liverpool, once they're all in the submarine, we get the ending cacophony of A Day in the Life.
Yeah, with this
and,
really
like,
interesting,
this
like, collage.
Rapid collage of traveling across England.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Like, it is just, like, so interesting to just use, like, and we'll just throw in...
Yeah, we'll just take a piece of this.
Throw in, like,
they do that
end
later
of Sgt.
with,
Pepper's.
Like, yeah, is it...
They do it later with Think for Yourself, which I want to talk about.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yeah.
that's an interesting moment. And
is
Baby You're a Rich Man.
that when the sphere around Sgt. Pepper breaks? Because there's one
that's Baby You're a Rich Man
that's
plays.
Right, thank you.
They open the sphere and Baby You're a Rich Man plays. But Think for Yourself plays when they get back to Pepperland and they need to wake up the mayor with a bit of music.
Yes.
And they just play the briefest snippet of them saying to rectify.
Yeah.
From George's Think for Yourself from Rubber Soul. And I was like, bizarre choice? Like, was there like
such an interesting
did
way
George
of, like,
specifically qualify that, like, hey, if my songs aren't going to be on the albums, I need as many of my songs to appear in the movie as possible? Like, it is just kind of, as far as musically, like, it is interesting that, like, they would choose Think for Yourself from Rubber Soul. I'm like, that's the song.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting inclusion. I mean, I like Think for Yourself, but it's like it's not even like the chorus. It's just this random pull from a verse. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then they depart, and then we get All Together Now, which is one of the new songs for the movie.
Right.
Also, we should mention George Martin's score for this.
Yes.
Is half of the album when you listen to the album. I remember listening to that a lot when I was a kid. There's one track from it that I would listen to all the time. And for some reason in my head, I was like, this is like the score that plays in Indiana Jones when he's like sneaking around the submarine in Raiders.
Oh.
No, it's not. It is absolutely nothing like that. But
funny.
in my childhood brain, I was like, these are the same. They both deal with scores based around submarines.
That's funny.
Which is very interesting. Would you ever be on a sub? Would you ever get on a submarine?
No.
Me neither.
Seems awful. I won't even do the one at Disneyland because it just looks cramped. You know,
yeah.
I don't think it'd be fun.
I toured in San Francisco. I toured like a World War II submarine.
Oh wow.
There's just one like on the dock that you can just go in and visit. Yeah, cramped. Hated it. I felt really weird in there.
I'd feel like a sardine, and I don't like that. I don't want to be in a tin.
I just don't like the idea of being underwater. Scary. But the Yellow Submarine seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
But All Together Now, I like that song.
It's a good song.
It's a good song. It's decent, you know. It does that one the most has the energy of like Paul being like, okay guys, we have to do this song.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's actually the story behind how it was made, but it feels very like, all right, let's just like crank one out.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it feels very in tandem with Yellow Submarine, of that kind of like bouncy call and response.
Yeah. And it's very fun. It's a fun song. I remember loving that one when I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun when the Beatles do kid music.
Mm-hmm.
And then we enter the Sea of Time.
Yes.
I've broken these up into the seas that they visit.
Mm-hmm.
The Sea of Time. They start going backwards.
Yeah.
Well, first they start going backwards and being really young. And someone says, like, if it keeps going backwards, we'll go up our own existence or something, which is kind of funny. And then they reverse it.
And I like that as they get younger, it's just like all that happens to Fred is that he stops going gray. Like he's got like brown hair now. But he's like, it's like, how old are you?
Yeah. And also that the Lord Mayor calls him young Fred at the start. Fred. So it's like old Mayor is like 3,000 years old. I don't know.
Something.
There was an interesting part of the documentary as well in the featurette where they talk about that, where they're like, Lord Mayor represents an older generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like they briefly mentioned that of like these other generations are represented, and I was like, interesting.
Yeah, that's curious.
You know, When I'm 64, lovely song.
Yeah,
great song. One of Paul's greats, I would say.
It's a good one.
And they get beards really long.
Yep.
Would you ever grow a beard like that?
Beard growing. Mm-hmm.
Would you ever do that?
No.
This guy says no to everything. This guy doesn't want to be in a submarine. Doesn't want to grow a beard long.
No, I do not.
Sea of Science, which is where we get only a northern song. And this is where I want to bring something up, Parker.
Yes.
On behalf of my family, specifically my dad, but also kind of me, but whatever. There's this interesting phenomenon in which Hey Bulldog is something that my dad and my uncle think is not a great song.
Really?
They're like it's like a lower, they're like it's one of the lower tier Beatles songs. They're like it's kind of cheesy. It's just like, you know. And that's what they believe. Me and my sister and my cousins, I remember distinctly having a conversation one time about how we were like, no, Hey Bulldog's really good.
Yeah.
But our fathers, our respective fathers being like, what are you guys talking about? Like, Hey Bulldog isn't great. And I wonder if there's this generational divide. That being said, my dad always preferred Only a Northern Song and It's All Too Much, George's new songs for this movie.
Sure.
They sound crazy.
Yeah. They
and yet I have so much love for them that is why when your review said, Hey Bulldog is the greatest thing in this, I was like, George Harrison would like to have a word. Because I do like George's contributions to this. They're
great. They are great.
But it's so interesting as well. Like, Hey Bulldog. Like, it's interesting that like the new songs in this movie, there's those 4 new songs all together now. Only a Northern Song, Hey Bulldog, and It's All Too Much.
Yeah.
Are obviously from the Sgt. Pepper's Magical Mystery Tour recording sessions.
Right.
And yet they, in my brain, they feel so different from those, but they aren't White Album songs either. You know, like they do feel like this weirdly distinct thing. I guess it's just because they're included separately from those projects. Like, I imagine if those appeared on like Magical Mystery Tour, I wouldn't think that.
Sure.
But like they do, I don't know, they feel different. They do feel different. I don't know. What do you make of that? What do you think?
Yeah, like they do feel separate in that way. And like I like the other songs. I genuinely do. I think I go to bat for Hey Bulldog because it's people discount it a lot.
Yeah.
People
and it was literally removed.
Exactly.
From the movie.
And like dude, that bass line is so
the piano riff. I think the piano riff is fantastic.
Yeah, the piano riff is
just
really
so
great
fun.
too. Like just all of it is fantastic. Like all of it is just like it's catchy. It's got like a very good rhythm to it. I like it a lot. If I'm ranking like the new songs, I think I like Hey Bulldog best. Only a Northern Song is a very close second. And then probably It's All Too Much and All Together Now.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it feels right to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's very interesting. It's just, it's wild to have these 4 extra songs that just kind of don't really exist on any album. But they had to be recorded in that period, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sea of Science, that's kind of interesting. That's where like they're part of that box, and you get like their faces.
It's cool visual.
filtered
Like
out.
again, they start with that one because like, well, we can just make a music video out of this. Let's just do that.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
and they did, and
it is fun. Yeah.
it's a cool music video. The Sea of Monsters. There's no song.
There's no song here.
It's
Just
kind
a lot
of
of
the most
shenanigans.
plot-heavy element.
Yep.
Ringo is lost.
Yep. And they don't seem to care.
What will we do now? Learn to sing trios. No, let's save the poor devil.
Let's save the poor devil.
They don't really do much though.
No, they just kind of fly around. I like that they're looking for the boxing button on the submarine, and instead they give the boxers a trick cigar, which I like a lot. There's some
Also, at
silly
one point when
gags.
all those things are popping out of the submarine, at one point a banner that says the Rolling Stones comes out of
Yes,
the back. It's
I
just
like-
kind of a fun little reference.
That one's fun.
And then they end up in nowhere.
Yep, because they get sucked up.
They get sucked up by that awful fucking trumpet monster that eats the world. And they're in nothingness. And who do they meet there, Parker?
They meet Max's
Jeremy?
favorite character,
Jeremy?
Jeremy, Hillary,
Hillary?
Boob,
Boob.
Fid,
Food.
Food.
Yeah, I hate him. I hate this little rat man. I want him dead.
I don't have the animosity for Jeremy that you do.
I find him irksome.
That's
I
fair.
will say that this time I was like going in being like, and he's in it so much and he talks so much. And I was like, he's actually not in it a lot.
Yeah.
In my memory, he was in it for too long.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's just like, and I get that he's like a riff on some British comedian or,
Sure.
a philosopher or whatever. And like, he's like, the voice is very specifically meant to be somebody, but it's like making fun of, all these men who are like,
Pseudo-intellectuals.
yeah, pseudo-intellectualism. And he's doing everything. He does everything.
Yeah.
And I get that. And yet I'm still just like, leave him.
So you mentioned, I can't remember if you mentioned this on mic last time or after, but you have been wont to say that Jeremy is the original Jar Jar Binks.
I think he is.
And I think there's an argument to be made for that. I think the reason Jeremy works for me more is that Ringo actually likes Jeremy. Nobody likes Jar Jar. Nobody feels bad for Jar Jar. Nobody cares
Yes,
about Jar Jar in
it's
those
true.
movies. And this one, like, he
like,
comes along because Ringo feels bad
Literally,
for
the
him.
other Beatles are like, let's please leave him.
Yeah.
And
And he's
Ringo's
like,
oh,
but
come on.
he's all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
Ringo
that.
Ringo really, identifies with that because we're
Like-
introduced to him by saying that he's lonely.
Yes, and then like that little exchange they have where he's like, "Would you like to come with us?" He's like, "Would you really take a nowhere man?"
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's like a night, like, I like the fact that it gives the character a reason to care, which makes us have a reason to care, even
Sure.
if, yes, absolutely, he is serving all of the narrative purposes that Jar Jar Binks does.
Thank you for making that defense. What I'm getting from this is that George Lucas really should have considered putting Ringo in The Phantom Menace.
I think so.
And Ringo being like, I like this guy.
I like this guy.
Honestly,
poor little Gungan.
might have worked.
Yeah, might have gone
If,
big.
if Ringo was there to be like, I like Jar Jar Binks, maybe people would have been like, well, if Ringo likes it.
No, if Ringo likes him, I guess I'll like him. Yeah. Goes a long way.
Goes a long way.
Yeah.
But I will say this, the Nowhere Man sequence,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like, it's not as visually stunning as Eleanor Rigby and Lucy, because those are just like pure like collage rotoscope, just like animated sequences, and Nowhere Man is a lot more limited.
Yeah.
But when they're walking in the void
Mm-hmm.
and they're like leaving behind this funny psychedelic pattern with like a blue cat and like mushrooms or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what the Beatles music feels like to me.
Mm,
Like, it does feel like painting a void with color. Like,
Yeah. I can see that.
and there is something about the Nowhere Man sequence, and also I just really like that song a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something about that sequence that really taps into like, this is what their music means to me, in a way that like the other more stunning visual sequences in this feel more like artistic statements set to Beatles music.
Sure.
This feels more of like a statement as to what the Beatles music is and would look like visually.
Yeah.
And that's my take on Nowhere Man.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that
Great.
a lot.
Moving right along, they take Jeremy with them, and they end up in the foothills of the Headlands.
Yes.
And then Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds starts playing, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, it's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Great.
Great.
But I will say this sequence feels the most inserted. Like, everything else, like, obviously this movie is just, like, stitching together these disparate sequences, these different sequences, but this one in particular is just, like, they arrive in the foothills of the Headlands, and then John's like, oh, look. And then Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds plays, and then afterwards, at the end of that, he goes, all right, guys, we can go.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and that happened.
Like, the script really just feels like it's like, and, great. All right, let's keep going. But man, is it gorgeous.
Yeah, it's stunning to look at. It's really, really remarkable.
Anything? It's hard to describe. It's hard to talk about it.
Yeah, it's hard to
go watch it.
So much of this is visual. Like, just go watch it.
Yeah. Sea of Holes.
Mm-hmm. I like the Sea of Holes.
I've got a hole in me pocket.
Got a hole in me pocket.
Is one of my family's most said phrases, I think, in our history.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We say it all the time.
I do like that. Something else that I think is kind of a fun element they add for, like, you know, this is a movie for Beatles fans, right? And so a lot of the dialogue will insert lyrics from other songs that don't appear. So, you know, here it's like, how many holes do you think there are here? Enough to fill the Albert hole. You know, like, it's stuff like that, which I like a lot. I like, we didn't mention it earlier, but I really like the repeated asking for help and spelling it out is always really good.
Yeah.
L is for love me. P is for please.
Yes, good joke. And also Fred at the very start says, oh, won't you please help me. Just like that song. It's just like that song.
Just like that song. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love the Sea of Holes, though.
Yeah,
just visually very interesting to look at. And then the Sea of Green is there.
Yeah, the Blue Meanies swipe Jeremy.
Oh, yeah. They get him. And I was like, good riddance.
And it's gone.
Just leave him.
Yep.
Let him take him. What do they want with Jeremy? Do they ever say anything?
No, they don't say anything about it. I think they're just being stinkers.
I will say that Jeremy does have the energy of a spirited away creature.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I also want to mention the bit we did earlier this week in which I said, well, wouldn't it just be great if, you know, these Beatles biopics are coming out and they had announced, you know, they have these pictures of each actor as the Beatles, like Paul Mescal is Paul McCartney. Yes. Barry Keoghan is Ringo Starr. Harris Dickinson is John Lennon, and so on and so on. Just skipping Joseph Quinn. Just skipping Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, I guess. I didn't mean to. I was just like, and funny. So on. What if in like a week they release a photo of like Richard Kind, American character Richard Kind, made up to look like Jeremy, and it just says very seriously, Richard Kind is Jeremy Hillary Boob, PhD.
Yeah.
And I just think it would be really kind of... now that's how I get on board with Jeremy.
Sure.
Is if they're like, oh, by the way...
Distinguished character actor.
in these four Beatles biopics, we are also including Jeremy.
Yeah.
I go... I mean, look, it's the Star Wars rule of if I hated it then, but it's back now, I'm gonna like it because it's this thing I've seen before.
That's so funny.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, just open it up, you know, make the biopics a little more interesting. Open it up to just the wider Beatles canon.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is Mean Mr. Mustard. He's also there.
Perfect.
He's like, I've got a song idea for you, know? Like,
yeah. I'd watch it.
Bradley Cooper is Rocky Raccoon, you know?
Huge.
And it's like it's a joke on, you know. I just feel like you're not engaging with me on this, Parker, and I need you to engage with me.
I don't know what you want from me. Other
I
than
want you to
saying
make
that
it
would be
happen.
funny. You want me to make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get on Photoshop.
Yes.
I'll send you some stuff.
Yes. So they return to Pepperland. Think for Yourself plays very briefly when they need to wake up the Lord Mayor. They do. And, you know, it's like you gotta fight the Blue Meanies.
Yeah.
And then They get the instruments.
They get the instruments. They find the duds.
They find the duds.
Mm-hmm.
And they become Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yes. Well, because they wake up Old Mayor, and he's like, you striking resemblance. You could pass for the originals. Like,
yeah,
that's a big thing. Is that
there you go?
Hey, like
we
you
are
look
the
like
originals.
exactly like our founders.
We are the originals. The word Beatle is only said like once in this whole movie, right?
Yeah, Beatles to battle.
Oh, twice then, because
I guess
they also
twice.
say the bubble is Beatle proof.
Yes, nothing is Beatle proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it takes a long time to be like,
takes a
oh,
long
by
time.
the way, we're the Beatles.
Yes. Hey, we're the Beatles.
Whoa.
That classic song.
That classic song, Hey, we're the Beatles.
Hey,
Why wasn't
we're
that
the
in this
Beatles.
movie?
Yeah.
But I like them. I like them waking everybody up. I like,
Yeah.
kind of Pepperland's design of just these big words in the hills, and it's all very interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you make of all this, Parker?
It's just like it's interesting because like I think part of what knocks a bit of this movie for me is that once we're back to Pepperland, it feels like Act 3 really drags its feet. Like it's a really
spinning its wheels.
prolonged. Like
It's
okay.
really just being like, we're just kind of killing time.
Yeah, it really, it's just stuff keeps happening, but none of it feels very consequential.
Which specifically, I just want to shout out, like, I love the Hey Bulldog sequence. It feels so bizarre where it is.
Yeah.
Because the order of things is so weird. Because they get there, they get the instruments. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, like, they play that song.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're winning and they've beaten the meanies. But then it's like, no, there's a second stage to the attack, which is like, sure, the glove.
Yes.
Is another, so there's the glove.
And then they defeat
and then
the
it's
glove.
but then they play All You Need Is
all
Love.
you need is love to beat the
which
glove.
feels triumphant and like the ending number. And then it's like, no, they're still not done.
They're still exactly just like it just keeps going.
Yeah, and so then they save the original Sgt. Pepper's band by popping the bubble. They're playing Baby You're a Rich Man in there.
Yes.
And then it opens up and they come out. And like I like them interacting with the band and them being like the ego man Goo Goo Gajoob is a good joke.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
do
a
like
good
that.
joke. I do like that one.
And then dogs. So then it's Hey Bulldog.
Yep.
Which is fun, but it's like this is the last song that they sing before the end credits.
Right.
And it's just kind of bizarre that it comes after All You Need Is Love. So like I
Yeah.
understand cutting it on that level of like structurally, like narratively, what is going on.
See, if this was any other movie, I would agree with you, but this movie doesn't give a shit about structure.
No,
it doesn't matter.
I'm only saying that I see why that choice was
Yes,
made.
I understand.
But I disagree with for the same reason that you do, which is I'm like, I'm not here for
Like this movie isn't playing by 3-act structure rules.
No. But it just,
Why are you worried about it now?
But the third act does feel kind of weird. And it's like, where are we in this?
Yeah,
like,
and I think
war?
that's
Not
the
that it
problem,
matters.
is that like the first half of the movie feels like the mission statement of we're going to do some psychedelic trippy stuff and we're going to listen to Beatles music and we're going to have each of these individual musical sequences. And then the end is like, yeah, I guess there's a plot to this, huh? I guess we did set up a conflict that we have to resolve. So let's do that.
The thing for me is I'm like, All You Need Is Love is the resolution to that conflict.
Yes.
That is a rejection of the Blue Meanies philosophy. It's defeating the glove, their major weapon.
Yes.
And like that is the resolution of the movie. And then they're like, oh, but they need to free the band. There's still more to do. And like, it's just kind of an interesting shape for this to take. And again, I don't disagree with it.
Yeah.
But it is weird where it's like, you don't need to do like a conflict resolution.
Right.
But if you do, you already did.
Yeah, you already hit. You
Like,
already
All
like
You Need Is
your
Love is
crescendo
kind of
already
like-
happened.
That is the peak of like
Yeah.
the Beatles philosophy, rejecting the Blue Meanies. Like that is it,
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Why am I critiquing Yellow Submarine? Yeah, Hey Bulldog. Great. Do you have anything else you want to say about Hey Bulldog? I like when they bark. I like it when they're going like,
Yeah.
"Woo, woo, woo."
Yeah, I like the bark. I like all of I'm sure there's a term for it, but like anytime a song has like recording session dialogue and like people just talking or yelling or like saying stuff in the middle of a song, I really enjoy that,
Yeah.
Like Beach Boys has got a lot of that in like the Pet Sound
yeah.
sessions, which I really enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the entirety of Peter Jackson's Get Back.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes.
Yes, just give me all the stuff in the middle.
Sickos. Yes.
Yes.
And then it's over.
Yeah, they beat the Blue Meanies. They turn them good.
Yeah, they're converted to
goodness.
They say yes now.
They say yes.
Which is good. I like that. I like that it's not just like, and we killed all the Blue Meanies.
Yeah, it fits well with the Beatles world
with the
view,
philosophy.
the ethos.
Yeah, all you need is love.
Mm-hmm. And then It's All Too Much, which, like, I like the song. I think these visuals are a little lacking at the end. Like they're really nice tableaus. Like they are nice still images.
But they're pretty stiff.
But they're really static,
Yeah. Yeah. But it is like if you're looking for another like a different triumphant ending, I'm like, It's All Too Much feels suitably triumphant.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the Beatles show
and then we get the sign off from the boys, the lads.
The Beatles are there.
Mm-hmm.
And George speaks, and you immediately go, "Oh, yeah." They had no
That's
idea
what he
what you
sounds
sounded
like.
like.
You talk about, maybe Paul's only sin was being cringe. He's kind of cringe in the end of this.
I mean, Paul is the worst actor of all the Beatles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah. My sister, like, you talk about, like, your family quoting. My sister and I did a lot of, like, to keep his mind from wandering. It just sucks.
He's really hamming it up.
Yeah.
Oh man. Bless him.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie, and then yep.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie. Well, what's interesting is that scene with the Beatles implies that there are more Blue Meanies on the way.
Blue Meanies have been sighted. Even Blue Amina Meanies have been sighted in the vicinity of this theater. There's only one way to go out. How's that? Singing.
And yet, I can only think of the Zemeckis test footage version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, watching it, I was like, oh, this is not how I remember this dialogue because I've just seen that clip.
Yep.
So many times. Why every once in a while, I just go look that up and just watch it. Because I'm just like,
I gotta send you this Google Drive. There's some weird stuff in there.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, there was a plan to remake the Yellow Submarine in the
motion
2000s,
capture style.
early
2009 is when
2010s.
it gets announced.
Which makes sense because that is when, all the Beatles music is remastered. It's re-released on vinyl.
It goes on
all
iTunes
that,
like
Like Rock Band has just come out that same time. Like that all kind of comes in like 2009.
Yeah.
Like
Variety announces it in August 2009 off of the heels of A Christmas Carol that Zemeckis has done. Like that's about to come out. It gets brought up at the first ever D23 that year.
Wow.
They wanted it to line up with the 2012 Summer Olympics in London.
That's the thing is like, it is just peak Disney being like, what do boys like?
Yeah.
How do we appeal to boys?
Mm-hmm.
It's that era. It would be included in the Tron Legacy, John Carter, Lone Ranger, like that period of Disney being like, can we appeal to young men?
David Tennant was in talks to voice the Chief Blue Meanie.
It was 2009.
It was 2009.
Doesn't it just feel kind of good to be like, remember 2009? They were like, what do we do with David Tennant, star of Doctor Who, leaving Doctor Who? Make him the Chief Blue Meanie.
Put him in Blue Meanie.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway.
it gets Disney abandons the project 2011.
Wow.
Mostly citing the disastrous opening weekend for Marsney's Moms.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that movie killed it.
Yeah.
And then by December of 2012, Zemeckis says that he's completely lost interest in the project.
Wow.
So it is then dead in the water. And then in 2021, footage surfaces online.
Right. Yeah.
With that screen test.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of these animatics.
And not to talk about this too much, but the thing about that test footage is that, like, it is frightening.
Yeah.
And yet, like, the designs of the Beatles aren't terrible for what they are.
Sure.
Like, they're very caricature-y. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't speak my mind on this.
No, go ahead.
But it's just, like, it is weird. It's
Yeah,
very bizarre because it's like hyper realistic, but it's like that is a style of filmmaking that just doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And there is kind of this like question of like, could it have improved?
Well, the thing that pisses me off about this is that I've only ever seen that screen test, and then I didn't watch all of the anime because the animatic's like 15 minutes, and I was like, I'm not dedicating 15 minutes of my time to this. But like, I scrubbed through, I watched certain segments of it, and it's interesting because the animatics have this art style to it. Like everything is drawn this way.
Interesting.
But seeing it drawn 2D is so much more palatable. Like you look at it and you're like, okay, this is an interesting style.
Which
like,
I think is what I mean is like this, like the visual design of those guys. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Because case in point, if you take an image of like, if you look at like a stock image of 2D Mario from like promo art of like the 90s, and if you put an RTX filter on him and make him realistic and give him pores, but everything stays the same, the design falls apart because it's not meant to have that level of detail.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And I think that's the problem with these Yellow Submarine models, is that the actual design of them isn't terrible.
No.
It's just I don't want to see pores on these guys.
I don't want to see pores on these guys. It's unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, so that's Yellow Submarine. Any final thoughts?
I mean, no.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Like I watch this almost once a year. Like I put this on a lot.
It's very watchable because it's ultimately just kind of I did have the thought, I was like, oh, so this is those like official visualizers that people talk about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't do music videos anymore, they just do visualizers of like, this is the vibe. I go, oh, this is just like a feature length visualizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's Yellow Submarine. There's not a lot to say. It's just kind of like, it is interesting when they kind of tap into like, you know, Ringo being like, I identify with the Nowhere Man, and you go, that's kind of the only emotional beat in the entire movie.
Yeah. And
then at the end, they're like, and we're wrapping it up. We're defeating the Blue Meanies, and I go, I didn't really care about that. I'm just here to like see interesting visuals.
Yeah. So my question for you is this the best Beatles movie?
Well, what are we counting as Beatles movie?
I'm counting the ones they were involved with directly.
Okay. All right.
And I think you can include Let It Be. I think that can be,
but
in
not
here.
Get Back.
Not Get Back.
That's not a movie. All right.
What do you think is like?
I mean, it's between two. It's
sure.
Between this and Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Hard Day's Night also kind of falls off in the third act for me.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of loses because it kind of runs out of steam.
Yeah.
Like it's great, but like by the end I'm always like, okay, like all right, like, you know. So I guess this is.
Yeah, because like I agree with you, and I see what you're saying, and like the argument I would make is that I think this is a better encapsulation of what the Beatles feel like as a band, as artists, as like a cultural phenomenon, you know? Whereas like Hard Day's Night is a British comedy that stars the Beatles.
Well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit, just because what Richard Lester managed to capture with A Hard Day's Night feels very realistic to them in that moment.
Sure.
Of like in that moment, that's kind of the band that they are, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's that quote where basically that movie like the understanding of the story of that movie comes out of one of the Beatles. I think it's like John or George saying like, well, right now our lives are just a room, a car, a train, a car, a room. And that's it. Like that's all their lives were. And I do think that Hard Day's Night captures that. But I think that it's capturing is the phenomenon of the Beatles and who they were in that moment. Whereas this movie doesn't actually feature them directly, but better captures their mission statement.
Yeah.
In a sense. And also like their creativity more. Like A Hard Day's Night this is the outside world looking in on what their life is like.
Yeah.
And Yellow Submarine is their interior world made exterior.
I like that.
almost is how I would think of it, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
They go well together.
Absolutely. Like
I just think that since this is probably, I mean, they're probably about the same length, but
they're pretty close.
This just feels a little more watchable in the sense that, again, I can get to the end of this and have stuck with it the entire time. Whereas A Hard Day's Night, I struggle late in that movie just a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see. This is 90 minutes on the dot.
Yes. And A Hard Day's Night is...
Hard Day's Night... 88 minutes. So it is technically shorter. But it feels like it's 2 hours.
It does.
Yeah.
And so I think that looking at that, this is the better movie.
Yeah, I can get behind that. With a lot of love to Hard Day's Night, I do like it quite a bit.
Absolutely. But you don't watch that almost annually.
No, I don't. I don't know the last time I watched A Hard Day's Night, honestly.
Wow.
It has been...
Last time you had A Hard Day's Night.
Yeah, I watched it in 2023. I watched it 3 years ago.
Cool.
But, yeah.
So, we've compared Yellow Submarine to A Hard Day's Night.
Mm-hmm.
Should we compare it to Citizen Kane?
I suppose. I guess we could do that if you'd like.
I guess. If you really want to, I guess.
All right, criteria. Culture and historical relevance.
Oh, well, interesting.
Yeah.
Because how much of a landmark is this in animation?
It's pretty sizable. It's pretty large, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I think I'd be willing to give this a point over Kane.
I think there is an argument to be made for sure.
For what it is, for the impact that it made and continues to make.
Yeah.
And also it's tied to the Beatles.
Yeah. Who
reshaped music and art history forever. No matter what you think of it, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those kind of totemic moments within a particular medium, right? And
yes,
it what's the words I'm searching for here? Like it inspired an entire generation of artists. This is often cited by people in animation as being a really big deal for them, right?
Right.
And that goes on to inspire other works and things like that. And additionally, like, obviously this is kind of not necessarily the metric to go off of entirely. However, anytime I see an online discussion of like, what do you want in the criterion? What are you shocked isn't in there? This is on that list every single time. Like, people are always like, how is this not here yet? Yeah, you and I have talked about it a ton.
It should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is it not?
Rights issues, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
Yep. But yeah, I think I'm okay giving this point to Yellow Submarine.
Great.
Yeah.
How well do you think it's doing what it's trying to do?
Pretty well. Like, if the goal was to make it like a psychedelic animated Beatles film, like, hey, he killed it, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know that this has lofty aspirations.
It was born out of a contractual obligation.
And boy, how did it fulfill that contractual obligation?
Hey. On that criteria, it did succeed. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's like, yes, it is very successful at what it's doing, and yet at the same time, yes. Mm-hmm. It is doing what it's trying to do well. Is it doing it better than Citizen Kane is? Because that is the question.
What's tough about this one is that if the Beatles were more involved with this, I think I would hardly say that Yellow Submarine is. Like, if this felt more distinctly a singular artistic vision from the people that it's about, that would, I think, I would have more to say on that. But, like,
right,
it's tougher when there isn't one particular figurehead to point to, like George Dunning has some
Right.
influence on this, but isn't really like the main creative thrust.
Right. I mean, this movie is kind of anti-auteur theory in that sense.
Totally, which is fine. Like, it doesn't have to be, but it makes it for, like, it's an easier conversation and argument to have if it is when you're up against, like, one of the main arguments for auteur theory, right?
Exactly. That's what's kind of interesting about that is, like, yeah, Citizen Kane is very much in the conversation around auteur theory, whereas Yellow Submarine is just like, I don't know, a bunch of people got together because of a contractual obligation and made a thing. I don't know. I hesitate to give this the point over Kane.
I think that's fair. I think that's the right move.
An isn't a knock on this movie's success rate. It's just the fact that Citizen Kane has more of an aim.
It has clarity of vision.
Yes, and it achieves that vision more fully than this movie achieves any sort of vision other than, guys, we got to make some weird shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So I think we'll give the point to Kane on that.
I like that.
I wonder how many episodes we've done where a film has received the first point and not the second. It's kind of
I don't know. That's curious.
Do you like it?
I do. Again, I watch this almost every year.
Very
Like
watchable.
it's just I put this on a lot. I enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
I was shocked I didn't own it until like a couple weeks ago. just because the DVD, like the Blu-ray is very hard to find.
Hard to find. You got a good deal on it finally.
I got a good deal. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Beatles. I like this more than I like Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
like just by nature of I've been watching this since I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's gonna go to this. So that is and same for you, I imagine.
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay, so that's 2 points to Yellow Submarine, 1 point to Kane. Taking a step back.
Taking a step back. Like my gut instinct is that my heart says yes, but my brain says no.
I agree. I'm in the same spot. Yeah.
And it's tough because it's like other times when we look at stuff that is so far removed from narrative conventions, when we look at Daisies and Meshes of the Afternoon and Atland, like those I don't feel the need to like qualify as much because it's like, well, they're trying to do completely different things.
Yeah.
But this still has the bare bones of like narrative conflict structure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bare bones, you know?
It is. And it's not like it feels like such an afterthought because it is.
Yeah.
And like I do want to give props to this movie taking elements of Beatles music of like saying, well, what if Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was from a place that had the Yellow Submarine? I go, now that's a good idea. Like I like they're doing interesting things, but it's like that's kind of the only hook they have.
Right.
It's like, well, it's about the Yellow Submarine and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Those are the two like main factors in this. And it's like, well, what are the blue meanies? I don't know.
Yeah.
Those just kind of got invented. And like, yeah, like again, it's like if this were just a piece of experimental animation filmmaking set to Beatles music, it's like that, you know, I'm it's less likely that I would hesitate to be like it's not better because we'd be ranking it would be like Daisies where it's like this is just making a statement through experimental filmmaking.
Right.
But because this movie is also like, and there's a battle, they're fighting the blue meanies. And I'm like, well, the minute that you're like getting back to the narrative, it's kind of like, what? Like,
yeah,
you know?
It's like, it's a vibey movie that like should mostly just be about the vibes. And there's some other stuff in there that distracts from that. Right.
And so I think for me, as you said, my heart is like, yeah. But also I don't think I can, I don't know why I was going to say in good conscience. It's not that serious. But it's like, I don't think it really gets far enough for me to say it's better.
That's fair.
I think it's a great movie. It's very easy to watch, and it's got some of my favorite music in the world. It's part of it. So, but I don't think, as far as a film goes, the film that it is, I don't think I can say. But what do you think?
I agree. I think that's a fair shake to give it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let. Do you want me to say it, or is
You can
is it
say
too
it.
heavy for you? Okay.
No, yeah,
I won't make you say it. You brought the film. Yellow Submarine is not better than Citizen Kane.
No, not quite. But
We're-
really good
that's
movie.
another
I do
really good
like it
movie.
more than Citizen Kane.
Of course. Yeah.
But
But that's not the question.
yeah, that's not
The
the
question
question.
isn't, do we like this more than Citizen Kane? Because that would be most of the movies we've covered here.
True.
But it's not. So there
Yeah.
we go.
There we go.
We don't know what we're doing next time, Parker, but we have a guest. Who's our guest?
Our guest will be joined by a dear friend and a wonderful multi-hyphenate, Hannah Coleman. So Hannah is currently sussing out what film she would like to bring. So we are all waiting with anxious anticipation to find out what that might be.
Anxious anticipation and bated breath.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
alliteration
really looking
and
forward
such.
to it. Really excited to talk to Hannah. I think it'll be a great time.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it as well. So,
Yeah.
Thanks everybody,
Thanks, everyone.
and goodbye.
All right, take care. Bye.